Coming to you today with a visual breakdown of the answer that I gave to one of my clients when they were asking which one is better to use for the Romanian deadlift. Would it be a barbell or a pair of dumbbells? I'm going to take a few minutes here and I'm going to break down the answer that I gave to them, why I gave them that particular answer, and also a potential tip to help you if you find yourself struggling with figuring out how to prioritize hinging at the hip for the Romanian deadlift. All right, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with a couple of reps of the Romanian deadlift with the barbell. And for the purposes of maintaining the right example here, this is what my client was referring to when they asked me about the barbell. This is a preloaded barbell that you'll find at many big box commercial gyms. So what I like about using a barbell, whether it's preloaded or otherwise, is that you can load it quite a bit heavier and still perform that movement. So that is a pro. What can be a con is that because you're using a barbell, your hands are in this very fixed pronated position. So if you tend to be someone who has not necessarily mastered the hip hinge and the importance of keeping that weight somewhat close to your shins and your quads as you both lower it and raise it, what can tend to happen is that you are moving forward, moving the barbell forward as you are descending, which then could be contributing into why you feel a lot of pain in your lower back during the RDL. Now, when we use something like dumbbells, and for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm actually using 50s, so this adds up to the same amount of weight that the preloaded barbell reports to be at 100 pounds, what I just used. When we're using dumbbells, again, form can be exactly the same, so that's a pro. You can load these and still perform the movement. What I feel like is also a pro is that if we need to change your hand positioning just a bit so that we can get you better at keeping that weight close to your shins and your quads as you lower and as you stand up, then we're able to do that because we can slightly change the hand positioning versus the barbell where the hands are in that fixed pronated position. Now, one con of using the dumbbells is that if you don't have access to a large array of dumbbells, then you may not necessarily be able to go as heavy as you could with a preloaded barbell or a regular barbell with bumper plates added to it. Okay, last thing that I want to leave you with is a tip that I picked up some time ago, and I'll share it with you. So if you are working on getting better at getting a feel for the hinge in a Romanian deadlift, you can take a foam roller, start in the standing position, kind of midway between your hip and your knee. You're going to place the foam roller. That foam roller will just be right in front of you here. And then what you're going to focus on is simply hinging back, and you need to maintain that foam roller against your body. And then when you get to that bottom point, you know, okay, this is my sticking point. This is the lowest that I would go because I can no longer move my hips back unless I start rounding my back to get lower, right? So we're right here, and then I'm gonna stand it back up. I'll do one more rep. Again, really focused on making sure that that foam roller stays against my body. This is gonna be my stopping point here. Everyone's stopping point will be a little bit different, so keep that in mind. And then I'm standing it back up. So what that helps me do is give some sort of like a physical or tangible cue for understanding that hip hinge. So then when you go back to do the movement and you actually have weights available, you minimize essentially the reoccurrence of those weights traveling out in front of you because you remember that foam roller that was there, and then you're keeping those weights much closer to your body, thus also doing more of a hip hinge versus a back rounding and focusing on how low can you bring the weights. All right, I hope that helps.